Hello, and welcome to Senior Artist Strauss. I'm Angel Mercado. Do you like to draw contrast, see the difference between light and dark, and at the same time learn how to draw a houseplant? If that's all, this video is for you. Today we're going to be doing a houseplant. This was a velvety leafy plant that we had because I did this from a sketch that I done a long time ago. And here what I want you to keep in mind are a few things. One, squint your eyes. When you squint your eyes, you can really see the difference between light and dark. So it's very important for you to get used to squinting your eyes. Two is there are no mistakes here. Just relax. Just take it easy. Here, you just take your time. You're here. If you're doing this, it's because you enjoy this activity. So therefore, you should just enjoy the process. Sometimes we have to hurry up a little bit, but that's when we're painting outdoors. Here inside, it's a little bit different. When we're doing some studio work, when we're doing sketching indoors, it's a little bit different because we don't have the sun that is moving all the time and it's not waiting on us. So it's a great exercise to really enjoy yourself, to take your time, observe, and do your drawing according to your speed. Don't try to compare yourself to somebody else. Not necessary. Errors. Yes, there are errors. Of course, we all commit, errors, but mistakes, when we do this kind of sketching, and especially using charcoal, mistakes can be so easily fixed. So you don't have to worry about that. We can relax, and that is the main objective of this. Relax and enjoy the process. Okay? So, now let's go and see how we can sketch a plant, an indoor plant, and also pay attention to the light and the dark, the contrast. Okay, so let's go and see what this is all about. But before we go, remember to get my free class that I have down in the descriptions. It's just for you. It's about composition, how to start a drawing or a painting. So get it. And also, give me a like, subscribe if you enjoyed it, and share it. Maybe somebody else is looking for something like this. So now, let's go and see what this is all about. The first thing I like to do is I like to start like a little frame around the page. You can see in the photo reference we're going to draw this table. Okay, and we just see a little part of the table like that, and we're going to do a little bit of perspective there, so we're going to draw this at a little bit of an angle. And the flower pot was a dish first, and the dish goes from here to about here. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to do an oval. We always try to look for the big shapes first. So this is the table is one big shape, and the flower pot, of course, will be the next big shape, but we have to put a dish there so we kind of got it. Yes, indications of it. And right here is going to be my flower pot. It's going to go to about there. And here. And approximate there. Okay, and of course, this was a leafy plant, so we're going to draw some leaves around here. Very sketchy, very loose. Like I always tell you, just start very light, because you see that line there. If I don't like it, I can just go like this and pretty much do away with it. Or if I want to get rid of it completely, all I have to do is just like that. Very easy with the razor. And here we have another leaf that goes. And here comes the fun part. The reason why I'm using charcoal is because of what's coming up. We need to lay the dark first. And I'm going to lose some of my drawing, and that's okay because I pretty much know where things are going, so it's no big deal. And here the background is going to be very dark. This is one technique to use that's nice if you want to keep the background nice and fresh. Okay, as you can see, we can fast add all of this tone to the paper, and we're going to add some tone to some of the leaves. They're going to be under shadow, and we're going to go very light here, very light, and that's pretty much what I want to do with this. Here under the pot, of course, going to be a little bit of shadow made by this light, and the rim around the flower pot, and we're going to have this one. So that is our first sketch. You see how fast we can do this. If I was using a pencil, graphite, it would be a lot slower than this. And now what I'm going to do, I'm just going to use my finger to blend, especially the background. Because the background, we want to keep this side light, since that we have the shadow from the pot here. We're going to give this side kind of light. This table, of course, is nothing white, you know it. So we're going to also add some tone. It's all about adding tone to this. And here I'm just going to go very light with my finger just to get rid of the white spots. So pretty much we have our composition done. Now that I know pretty much my composition is going to work, I'm going to go back and I'm going to kind of redraw this. And I'm using the side of the charcoal. We're going to give this one a little bit of a fold just to make it look more natural. And of course we have a plate that goes right under the pot. There you see, and right away you can see we're starting to create this contrast between light and dark. So I'm going to get my kneaded eraser, go here and redraw some of this. Right, then we have some kind of disappearing edges. You see that? This is a hard edge, disappearing edge, or soft edge. This was kind of like a velvety plant, so it was very opaque. So I'm going to go back to my charcoal, and now I'm going to define this a little bit more. There's going to be very dark tone here underneath. All of this area is going to be very dark. This here is going to have a darker tone under the plate. There we go. And we have a little more contrast in there, so we're going to add that, and a little bit more on this side. Getting too much attention, I'm going to just, because I want the attention to go here, not there, so I'm going to add more tone to it. A little bit smoother, but remember this is a clay pot, and clay pots, you know, they have all kinds of stains. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to get my pencil, and since I know now where everything is going to go, I'm going to redraw some of this stuff. And the reason why I'm doing this is because when I go with my fingers sometimes, you know, we tend to blend too much of this out, so this is going to be more permanent. Pencil is always going to be more permanent than the stick. So it's a good idea to go with the pencil. Once you know where everything is placed, you know, just go and redraw everything. This leaf here is rounded. It goes kind of like a little bit underneath, so like in between them. Of course, obviously one of the darkest areas is going to be right here underneath this, because it's not getting any sunlight. Go like this leaf goes behind the one on top, so it's going to be getting some shadows from the leaf on top. Cast shadow. This is going to be a little bit on the there. And of course this one is gonna sort of like a little bit bent. So the underneath is going to be darker than the top. You can see how fast we can move in charcoal. It doesn't really take much. So you see how we start with the big shapes and then we work into smaller details. Again, I'm going to darken a little bit of the corners. It's always kind of good to have the corners kind of quiet. You don't want a lot of attention here because you don't want the eye to go straight to the corners. So I'm just going very light with the side of the charcoal. And notice I'm not even touching some areas, I'm leaving them kind of white. And with my finger, very loose, I'm going to, create a sense of a looseness and movement there with my finger. There we go. Now I go with my finger and try to smooth that out. It's good to do this because here the edge, it's not going to be as dark because it's a round object, so it's going to be casting a little bit of a highlight from the table itself. Charcoal again, and I'm just going to go and darken this a little bit more. And here you can go, depends how much detail you want in your piece, is how much you want to do. I'm going to darken a little bit in here, rough it up a little bit. Rough it up, I mean add more texture. That's what I mean by rough it up. From the pot, maybe some leaves are casting some shadows there. And the last thing I'm going to do with my eraser, I'm just going to go and I'm going to create a little edge here along this. And it can disappear and it can show up again. It doesn't have to be precise. It's just the main thing is that we have a little edge there. We have this edge in here. Soften it up a little bit with my finger. Same thing here. This is going to be casting just a little bit of light right there on the edge. So we kind of take in the illusion of roundness, right? And here this leaf is going to go like this. Here maybe on the side a little bit here, you see? It's kind of nice because you can tell there's a fold there. And I'm just going to just prick with my dirty finger a little bit right in here, just to add a little tone to that white because nothing is completely white. And of course here in the center line, I can add another leaf. That's what's beautiful about charcoal. You see, you can do things even though when you think you're done, no, you're not. Here, I'm just going to go and blend with my finger. This is kind of like an afterthought. That way you can see how we can add more to it and not have to worry about is it going to look alright or not. It will look okay. So there's another leaf. The only thing here, this leaf needs to be a little bit more pointy, like that. So this makes the pot recede a little bit. And of course, when it's done, we go and sign it. There, and it's done. I hope you enjoyed this one. I hope you're going to do it. You can copy my idea, or you can find your own, or you can copy mine first and then find your own, however you want to do it. The main thing is that you will practice. Maybe this part here on top will be reflecting a little more light there. So there you go, my friend. I hope you enjoyed it. Learn something about how we can create contrast, how easy we can move with this charcoal. As you can see, there was no room for error, for mistakes. There's no mistakes. We just simply rearrange things. That is how we deal with mistakes. So we don't have to worry about it. We can just relax and enjoy the process. And that is why we're doing this. The only thing I'm going to do here, and this is going to make the shadows even look better, is by darkening this. You see how it makes these shadows look a lot nicer. There, very dark there. There we go. So there's our flower pot and our tonality from dark to light, from light to dark.